Lisa Hodgson, also known as Najida. I've been belly dancing for quite a long time now, and I've discovered Shimron Ibrahim's method, and I love it very much. Now, the basics of belly dance is where we start. We always start at the base of the pyramid. We start at the base, working our way up. That's also included in our posture and our stance and the way we move our body. We always start with feet first, hips, arms, etc. With belly dance, it's an ancient art form. It's something that women did for many, many years. Thousands of years ago, started origins like a folkloric dance. It's about celebrating womanhood, femininity, pregnancy, birth, and all the things that are feminine and beautiful and represent our strength more than anything else. With belly dance, what we do in belly dancing from the heart, or from Shimron Ibrahim's method, is we learn each week, we learn a family of movements on 3 parts of the body: the lower body, the chest area, and the upper body, which is the arms and the head. So you've got the head. You also learn a travelling move. Now, with the family of moves for the first week, we have hip lifts and drops. And they actually start in basic and in classical, and I'll show you them both. The first position is classical. I'll show you the posture. Soft knees, tucked in tummy, elongated back, not too elongated, just enough to have this braced, transverse abdominis tightened, strengthened. The chest up, shoulders back, down, head held high. And you should feel sort of a strength here, like a feeling of strength here that you're holding it all together. And the knees are soft because you don't want stiff knees, it actually can cause damage. Now this is the basic position: feet hip width apart, and soft knees, tucked in tummy, shoulders back, head up, chest high. You then do the hip drops and lifts in this position. This is basic position. Classic I'll show you in a minute. So hip lifts, you actually bend one leg and straighten the other, and then you straighten that leg and you bend that one. So you alternate between bending and straightening. And then you speed this up, you've got yourself a hip lift. You make it sharper. Now that's a hip lift and drop in basic. Now classical is a very classical, as I say, position. You still have your tummy tucked, shoulders back, head up. And then you actually bring one foot forward to the toe, with the heel to the toe, if you can see my feet. And you put your foot on the ball of the feet, and then you pull it across slightly so your hip width apart. Too far apart you can lose balance, too close together you can lose balance. It doesn't look right if your feet are too far apart. You pull your leg in a little bit so you've got the hourglass figure, more ladylike. You don't expose any parts here, you don't show any sort of lewd movements. It's more feminine lines. Now the classical hip lifts and drops, what you do is, again, you're straightening and bending the leg, but you do it on the one side. This is the working leg. This is the supporting leg. You have your arms, working arm, supporting arm, supporting arm. And the working arm does things like this. So that's working. And you keep this one upright, 45-degree angle. With the hip lifts, you straighten this leg and you drop. But what you do in the rule of dancing is you go, to make a big move, you go in the opposite direction before you do go in the other direction, which means before you lift and drop, you kind of soften your knees and you're sitting a little bit, and you bend, straighten your leg, and you lift your leg up, and then you drop. So you're actually squatting a bit, so you've got room to lift right up and drop. Lift and drop. But this is a hip drop. You're pulling up, drop. The emphasis is on the drop. If you just did it in this position, without any sort of exaggeration of the movement, it would just look like this. Not very effective. So you have to lift right up to drop. Lift right up to drop. Now that's very Egyptian. Turkish and Lebanese are hip lifts, more hip lifts. And so what you do is you sit further down, go down, and you go up. So you're picking up like a ping pong ball's on your hip, and you want to flick it up to the far corner over there. So that's a hip lift on the basic. Now you also have, with hip lifts and drops, it's a movement where it's percussive, and it's something that you do with sharp noises, like drum noises. Like in the basic position, have a look at my basic position again. You go tap, tap, tap. Or with the hip drops, it's dom, dom, dom. The hip drop is heavier. The hip lift is lighter. Tap, tap, dom, dom, dom. Now with the hip drops in the classical, you can also do what I think it's what they do is you're dropping once with the foot on the floor and once we kick out. You smoosh out a bit. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're actually smushing a little bit with your foot, twisting your foot. And it's an effect that looks quite good when you're dancing. Now the move for this week is actually just the 3 and pause. It's a very basic move. It's to get you from one side of the room to the other. And the movement is basically 3 steps, pause, 3 steps, pause. And I'll get to that in a minute because I've also got to do the upper body and the chest area with the lifts. The lifts on the chest area, because you've got the lower body, chest, upper body. Now the lifts on the chest are like you've got your posture and you have your arms out in ladylike pose, or you can have them framing, but all like this. Arms don't matter at the moment. What you do is you pretend you've got a string attached to the sternum, and you lift up and you drop. Lift up and you drop. And what you're doing is you're kind of squeezing your diaphragm in to drop. Lift, drop. You do have the lifts, lift, 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 or drop. Where you lift up, drop, drop, drop. Now that's the lifts and drops on the chest. On the upper body, you've got the shoulder drops. And that's where you do this. It's very folkloric. And you do this. It's very happy and joyful. And you can do it one arm, like this, smiling at the camera. And then you've got, getting back to the travelling move, 3 and pause. I'll show you that now, just briefly. And then I'll just demonstrate it all in to music. So here I go. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Now what you're doing with your feet, we normally walk heel to toe. So you're going heel to toe normally. So we usually walk like this. Okay? With the flat, flat, flat pause, or the 3 and pause, you're going like this. But you kind of, I liken it to being like a stealthy panther. And you're going flat, 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 pause. Flat, 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 pause. Flat, 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 pause. And that movement is something that can be done coming into a room or going around in a circle. If you have a troop of girls, you just go around in a circle with a flat, flat pause. Sometimes it's a good move to make where you're taking in the audience, and you can look out to the audience. That kind of thing. So it's something that is a move to get from one place to another. Certain types of belly dance move more than others. Some are more central, like classical Egyptian. You get others like Lebanese or Turkish, a lot of energy. They move around. There's other steps to those that you learn. So what I'll do now is I'll just demonstrate to you some of the moves and how they interpret the music.